Looking at the dog memes, Doge, Shiba, and Elon Mars, if we clean this chart out, you can see that the MACD on Doge is basically printing bullish right now. It's really low. It's actually the lowest it's been ever, or at least on the. Let's check a different chart. Maybe we'll get a better understanding of where we're at. If we look at trading view, yeah, actually, look at this. The weekly MACD is the lowest it's ever been. So, not that that means we're gonna like. I don't think we're gonna have an explosive move like this ever again. But there's a lot of room to run on the upside. Is basically what I'm saying. So, looking at Doge, the weekly MACD has crossed bullish. So, I would imagine a move up will follow something like this, at least, which is something that hasn't happened before. Where look at how low we are. Whereas back here we were still over the price bars, and now we're way below. So I do think the dogs are getting ready to run pretty soon. When? I don't have a crystal ball. If I had to guess, probably sometime this month. If they don't, then we're actually really bearish. So macro downtrend on Doge is still in play. Nothing has actually changed, but I'm resetting my chart. So Dogecoin bullish over 26 on the macro. If we zoom in like this and you want to get even earlier, you can see 26 is right on top of the 618. So all in all, Dogecoin is extremely bullish over 26 cents, but the breakout would be over 16 cents. You would see the downtrend would be broken, plus the first fib would get taken out. So another thing I wanted to look at Dogecoin was the actual Bitcoin pair, which is something that I always forget to look at. We looked at it on the live stream. It looks like from this bottom here. Let's see if I get it close. From the bottom here to the top of the bull run, you're sitting right on the 786. So I think that combined with Dogecoin's MACD flipping bullish on the weekly, we basically need to see Dogecoin bounce here. Even if it's something small, back up to the first fib and then a pullback like this, just for some type of accumulation, I think that's bullish, because even this move is 70%. So we don't really need to see the Bitcoin pair go up from here. It just needs to, or like in terms of like make a new high, we just kind of we need to see it bounce, because if it doesn't bounce here, it's just going to fall off the table. And the reason that that's so bad is because this is your 786. So there's no support under this in the macro structure. I mean, obviously you have something here, but even that, it's a pretty big drop, 28%. So we really have to see a bounce here. The weekly MACD sets up for a bounce on the USD pair. The Bitcoin pair is at the 786, so this needs to be some type of bottom. And what's interesting is if you look at Aave BTC, I know it's a different asset class in terms of DeFi and meme coins, but it's a similar market structure forming where you draw it from this bottom here, and you're sitting on the 786. If you draw it to this close, it's probably actually it doesn't touch on the close, but same type of idea where this 786 kind of has to hold for a bounce like this, and you see Aave had a huge bounce as well. So that's basically what I'm looking for Doge, but any lower than the 786 at 288 Bitcoin, and it's just going to fall off the table for 29%. The only way that would be bullish is if Bitcoin rips up to 60K. So that's also possible. But all in all, we really need to see Doge kind of start moving up. I would say in the next 2 weeks at minimum. Like we really need to start moving up this week, because it looks like it's trying to curl up, which is a good sign. The other dog memes look like that as well. So all in all, I would say Dogecoin bullish over 16 cents. Until then, it's just going to continue consolidating. But to break over this 16 is really what we need to see for a spike, probably up to 28. Moving on to Shiba Inu. What I did was I copied the previous market structure, which is not, you can see when I zoom in, it's not really that accurate because we never got a third drop. But starting with Shiba Inu's MACD, it is actually about to flip bullish, which is a good sign. And if we zoom in on the daily and basically copy, where would we copy? I guess right here, right to this peak. We could be in two scenarios where we're either right here and a move back to the all-time high is underway, or what I was doing last night, which we didn't actually get the third drop, was something like this. Copy and paste this, and the third drop should have been somewhere in here, Because I was looking, like, in other words, we were bearish on the 16th and on Bitcoin, and that would have matched the final bearish drop, but we didn't get it. So that's where I would imagine we were here, or we should have been somewhere back here. So it is also possible, right, March 22nd would have been what I was looking for as the bottom. So there's two scenarios here for Elon or for Shiba, that we're here and we're getting ready to sell off one last time, which I have a similar thing. This was a non-Nguyen's or non-Wen's thesis on Elon Mars as well, where it pulls back one more time. Or we're obviously here, and this week we're getting ready to blast to the upside. So obviously these blue overlays are a lot of speculation. It's just interesting to compare to the previous. It's interesting to compare to the previous market moves. Downtrend on Shiba Inu is actually invalidated here, and you can see that if you zoom in and adjust the trend line to fit the narrative, you did backtest the trend line and hold, as well as the 50-day moving average, which I don't give the biggest of weight to moving averages, but whenever they're in confluence with something, I give it more weight because obviously there's going to be heavy support there. So all in all, I do think Shiba Inu is gearing up for a big move. I don't know when. If I had to guess, I would actually probably say this week coming up. So today's Saturday, probably next week, or it really has to start moving up next week. And ultimately, as I said earlier, a couple months ago, we're not really bullish until we break over this 33 and 9. So I think you would get really bullish once you spike up to this, maybe have a pullback and then a big ass move like this back up to the 618. And how high can Shiba Inu go? Well, ultimately looking at the previous market cycles and how they shrink every time in terms of percent gain, I would imagine from this low to the high, you probably won't get more than an 8x because the last move was a 10x. If we draw it from the low here to the peak, it was about a 12x. So if we run the same type of analysis, I see it hard. I find it hard to believe that you're going to match the same type of move on this next bull run. So if I had to guess, I would say even to be conservative, you would get about 13 on Shiba Inu, which from the low here is about a 5x, maybe even 2 if you want to put it, if you want to stretch it out a little bit. But the market cap for Shiba Inu is already 14 billion, so I think anything more than a 6x is a little high. But obviously, the prices can go a lot higher than we expect them to, so it's not. I would be surprised if it rallied higher than that, but am I gonna say, oh look, like who would have guessed Shiba Inu 100 billion? It's probably gonna happen for a day at best, and then retrace like this once again. So can't really be bullish on Shiba until it breaks over 33.9. Other than that, we're still very much in the summer scenario, and it is possible that we are in here somewhere, or potentially even in here, where there will be one more pullback, and then ultimately a move to the upside. So that's what I would be looking for Shiba, something like one of the other where we get a move like this. Both lead to the upside. It's just a matter of timing, which I don't have a crystal ball. I know some people do. One thing I don't see, which would obviously also be on the table if I'm wrong, is a fall off the table. I just don't see it. I think Shiba Inu has really good market structure as well as most of the dog memes. I don't think. Where's this? Damn, I already lost it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, actually, that's interesting. How did I find that last time? Let me clear this out real quick. Yeah, here it is. So if you go from the wick to the close, you can see that Shiba Inu also bottomed at the 786, just like Doge BTC. So that's pretty much it for Shiba. All of the dogs are pretty much doing the same thing. Their MACDs are all getting ready to flip bullish. So Shiba over 3391 would be extremely bullish. And then finally we have Dogelon Mars, where you can see the MACD is also starting to flip bullish. It already printed green actually, which is why Dogelon Mars had a bigger move than Shiba Inu. You can see that it's already up 50% from the bottom. And what's interesting here is the theory that we were looking at on the live stream. It looks like they're both being invalidated. Unless Dogelon Mars basically rockets out of here today, then this is the print that we took from basically back here. And this calls for, we had the drop and we basically have to start moving up, I would say by April 4th. So I would look for April 4th as a potential date to start moving higher. If in fact we are going to follow the copy of the bars, and then we have Non's thesis of us being in September, which would obviously invalidate my thesis. but both theses point to the same direction. It's just a matter of where we are in the sequence. And obviously, like I said, the crystal ball, nobody has a crystal ball, but all in all, I think a lot of people are expecting Dogecoin to have a huge move, at least up to 7355. I'm thinking at least 10 and change for Dogecoin Mars, so I basically think we 10x from here because there's a fib up here at 1028. I think that's where we're heading. I give up on trying to find out when it's going to happen because obviously, like I said, it's almost impossible to predict the timing. But it is starting to look bullish on the weekly. The daily time frame is losing momentum. Same thing with Shiba. So it's not. I'm not focusing on the daily because I don't know when it's going to pop. But if it pulls back, so be it. Ultimately, that would basically suit this narrative. But it looks like we're running out of time. So it's either or, in my opinion. You can see that this one is starting to deviate, which would call for a drop basically this week, which is also on the table, but we have to reverse to the downside now. And then the original thesis of moving up after the 145-day correction, which would basically call for a move up now. So either a move down now or a move up now. One of the other must play out. Obviously, if it doesn't either and just goes sideways like this, then both theories are invalidated, at which point we'll just delete these blue bars and ultimately just focus on the price action, which is something that we should be doing anyway. But it's interesting to compare previous market pushes. So if we just pull this out of here, you can see that 1295 is major resistance. And once again, I'm not too bullish on Dogecoin Mars until it really rallies up to this 1875. There's really a lot of fibs on here, more than there should be. But basically what I was doing was trying to play like market profit and see what exactly is going to happen. And you can see if we do actually get this major move, there is a fib up here at 27. And then after that market peak, Dogecoin Mars would retrace, I would say at least 75% back to the 786 from down here. So we kind of should see a drop here if this is going to play out. But even if you pull it down like this and compare it to this bottom, and we top out somewhere up here, the 786 is in the same spot anyway, which would call for a 75% retracement back to 7096. And from that area, you would still be up from today. You would still be up 600%. So we'll see if this move plays out or not. Again, a lot of it's major speculation, but there's your update on the dog memes. I do think they're overall bullish in the next month, but obviously if we're still lollygagging down here over the course of April, then it's actually extremely bearish. So just my opinion. None of this is financial advice, and you always have to do what's best for you.